Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. I know we're in for a very interesting topic here this morning, and that I know that you guys know that we were supposed, because last week I actually announced it, that we will have our brother, our pastor, Pastor Julianno, Phyllis in the house. But unfortunately, I would like to apologize that, unfortunately, beloved, he could not make it due to the fact that his body is too weak. And that gives us more reason to pray for him, right? So as a kingdom family, I would like to appeal and ask from the bottom of my heart that we stand in the gap for Julianno. I know that God is able. Nothing is too hard for the Lord to do. And as a kingdom family, I know when the prayers goes up, I know healing can come down. Hallelujah. So yes, don't be despaired, because you know when you're in marriage, you become one. And that is why I am so happy that we have none other than his only beautiful, outstanding wife, his remarkable woman in his life. And we are so happy having her here this morning with us. And I know that you're going to learn quite a lot here today. So without any further ado, can we just get the technicalities and everything else out of the way? Everything is fine, right? You can hear us. So come on, guys. If you didn't subscribe, come on now, man. Stop it. Just go and subscribe, right? And also hit that notification button so that you can be notified what is happening on the Inside Show. So yeah, you are on the Inside Show with none other than Talk with Joan Thursdays. And yes, with me, I have someone special in the studio here today, and we're going to ask her to introduce herself. Thank you so much for coming this morning. Please, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Awesome. Wow, what an introduction. You see, I feel so lekker, considering I didn't get much sleep. Joan, good morning, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for allowing me to still come, even though I come alone. To everybody watching, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Simone Phyllis, the wife to Julianno Phyllis, who unfortunately is not here. I know that he is bitterly sad that he is missing this opportunity to talk to you, to share with you his journey. But this fight is real. We could never have preempted what we experienced. And I'm not even going to go far back. I'm going to go back just to last night. We could never have planned for what happened and what we endured last night. So he's really not able to. His body is just not physically strong enough for him to be here. But I do believe that the two has become one.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
We pride ourselves that we talk from one voice.
Yes.
We sing from one hymn sheet.
Yes.
So what you hear from me, I pray and I beg for that is inside of me to be exactly that he would have said. So thank you for having me. And I trust that you will receive everything that you wanted from this show and from this talk this morning.
Thank you so much, Simone. So yeah, we have Simone Phyllis in the house with us here today, and she's going to talk on behalf of herself and her family and a husband, right? If the one mouth can't talk, the other can, right? So yeah, come on, take out that mirror. Guys, I'm sure you also, I've seen some guys walking with the mirror, right? And things changed, guys. Come on now. Be real. This is a real show. Because you want to look into the mirror every now and then to see if everything is on flick, right? So I know, girlfriends, your mirror's in your handbag. Mm-hmm. So come on, take it out. And as the Americans say, in your purse. So get that purse and get the mirror out of the purse. And then just look into the mirror for a while. And this morning, with everything happening around us, and we are bombarded with mixed feelings and everything happening in this world and in our families and things like that. So there's mixed emotions. So this morning, I would like to ask my guest, Simone, if you look into that mirror here this morning, the person looking back at you, what's she feeling? Who is she? And how's she feeling this morning?
Wow. The person looking back at me. The person looking back at me after yesterday is grateful. She's grateful. She woke up this morning next to her husband that's still breathing. She is energized and so ready. So ready to finish this battle. Mm-hmm. This morning she's feeling, I feel sorry for her, but I feel a bit sorry for her.
Checked out a few things, on cancer. And I came to know that cancer is a group of more than 100 different diseases. It can develop almost anywhere in the body. And it actually also gives you on this research, I think the research was from cancer.net, and it says how it begins. It says that when cancer begins, cells are the basic units that make up the human body, right? And so cells grow and divide to make new cells as the body needs them. And usually cells die when they get too old or damaged. When they are too old, then what happens is new cells then develop now and take the place of the old ones. So cancer begins when genetic changes interfere with this orderly process and cells starts to grow uncontrollably, which means it's the old and the new, and it just starts growing. And that's when cancer starts developing. So these cells may then form a mass called a tumor. And a tumor can be cancerous or it can be benign, right? So a cancerous tumor is malignant, meaning it can grow and spread to other parts of the body. So, and also a benign tumor can grow but will not spread. But a cancerous tumor can spread anywhere into the body. So some types of cancer do not form a tumor, and these include like your leukemia, right? Most type of lymphoma, and also I think it was, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's myeloma, something like that. And there are different types of cancer. So cancer like carcinomas, sarcomas, leukemias, lymphomas, and that is the type of cancers that we find. So I want to first ask the question to Simone. If you can please tell us what type of cancer is Julianno diagnosed with, and also what stage?
In October last year, Julianno was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer.
Stomach cancer.
Yeah.
And that's an aggressive cancer, right?
Yes.
It spreads quickly.
When we spoke to the doctor the very first time, that's what he said to us, that it was obviously stage 4, meaning we found it at the very end.
Sure.
And it was at its worst stage. It was an aggressive type. So he had an aggressive type of cancer, and it had already, it had grown. It had been there for a while. You know, we had been treating ulcers. We thought he had ulcers.
Wow.
Doctors had been treating ulcers. Because of COVID, he couldn't really go to the hospital to have a scope done. So they were just giving him a whole lot of different medications all the time until we couldn't anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you can please tell us a little bit more, take us through this journey from the beginning, because I know that according to your testimony that you were diagnosed with COVID, and that's how everything started. My Lord,
Yeah.
girlfriend, that's why I say, yo, you're a strong woman.
Oh, not in my own strength at all, but 2020 was uncommon. Uncommon in the fact that we did not know what was waiting for us.
Yeah.
We did not know what we would be faced with, what we would be challenged with, how we would grow, how we would learn. September of 2020, the day before my birthday, so that week, my birthday is a Sunday, and that week I'm not feeling well. And I don't know how everybody else does it, but I know my body. I know that I do generally get the flu around the summertime. But this one wasn't the same. So we've heard what the symptoms are like. And I remember my pastor, his wife, Julianno, and I were constantly in contact because for whatever reason, we were kind of getting the same symptoms. Not Julianno, though, at the time. And every day we'd speak to Pastor and I'd tell him, this is where I'm at, this is what's happening. And eventually my mom, God bless her soul, her heart, my mom is in insurance. So she's an underwriter.
Okay.
Julianno's doctor. He calls her the doctor. Before Julianno goes to the doctor or does anything, he'll ask my mother first. This is what he's feeling, this is what or if he comes from the doctor, this is what the doctor says, so she must explain as if she's a doctor. But because she deals with these medical things, most of the time she knows. And my mother insists I need to go to the doctor to be tested. And I thought eventually I was like, you know what, let's just get this out of the way.
Yeah.
So I had the test done, and it's terrible. I was never ready for that.
Really?
No, that test is...
Really?
No, that test, I don't know. You probably haven't had it yet.
No.
That she puts me on the chair, and I explain to her what my symptoms are, and the sister says to me, "It's COVID." So I look at this woman and I'm thinking, can we wait for the results? Het gaan met jou. And she comes close to me with something that looks like an earbud, and she says she's gonna ask me to tilt my head back, and she's gonna put this thing in my nose.
Yeah, I know Jess had that. Twice net
En
Jess.
die nose is so klein en die neus is so plat so. Die nerves is 'n bietjie klap because die ding is nie nice nie. But
my word.
I bent back and she pokes this thing in my nose. But when I told my dad about it, because he also had to have the test, because he had a surgery done, so he had to have the test before the surgery.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, near it full of hulle die COVID in jou druk, because I don't know what they're looking for, the way they dig that thing in so deep. But anyway, so now in my head already it's playing that she's saying to me, all these symptoms is exactly what it is. So you have COVID, but let's do the test and wait for the results. And luckily the results came back very fast. So I went the Friday, the Saturday morning I had my results and I tested positive. The kids were still in the house, so we had arranged for mom to fetch not the little one. Jaleel had just turned 1. And we were okay with him being with us.
Okay.
And doctor also said it was okay for him. But Shazera was 5, and we were a bit concerned that that one's outgoing and that one's around everybody.
Yeah.
So let's keep her safe. She's not going to understand to stay away from us.
Absolutely.
So mom fetched her. And 4 days into COVID, I hadn't healed properly yet or completely yet. Julianno fell ill. He also had. But Julianno fell ill. And I don't know how it worked, but my mornings were terrible. My mornings were terrible. There were mornings where I couldn't do anything. And his evenings were terrible. But this helped us because in the morning, he would take care of baby, and in the evening, I would take care of baby. So after Jaleel, who's our son, after his nap time in the afternoon, that's when shifts would change. So I'd now be strong enough to take on my day, and this is around 4-ish. And Julianno would now be done with his day. And this particular day, it just wasn't the same. He just wasn't okay. But because he had the ulcer, we had been treating this, right? I said to him, you don't look like her, what's wrong? And he was like, no, he just needs to sleep. He's sure he's just tired. So I leave him. But you know when you know something's not right.
Yes.
So you go back
That
and we
gut
had
feeling.
the oxygen. Yeah. So we're measuring the oxygen because his oxygen would drop. So I thought maybe it's that again and he just doesn't want to tell me. So I put it on for him, but he's fine. But you can see he's weak. He can barely move. And I say to him, look, I don't know how much longer we're going to take this. Because if you are in pain, I can't help you. And I've got the child here.
Yeah.
And I've got COVID.
Yeah.
So I suggest you leave, go to the hospital. And even if they just give you a drip for the pain, and then you'll be back.
Yeah.
And being who he is, we wrestled, for lack of a better word, we wrestled with this one for a while. And he decided, no, it is the best.
Yeah.
He's still able to drive.
Yeah.
The pain was really bad. He was crunched in. He could not stand up straight because it was all in the stomach area.
Wow.
But he walked out of the house, got into the car, and he went. And that's where it started. Almost 3 weeks in hospital, test after test. And all we can do is text.
Right.
They don't allow us to visit. So we're texting each other, video calling. And then he says he has to have a scope done, which I'm also understanding, because if it is an ulcer, they need to see
And in the stomach,
exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
But he doesn't share everything. So he shares with me, but not everything. And the one thing he says that now really gets my mind going the other way is, alles is alright. Doctor said het het nie gegroei nie.
Wat het jy gegroei nie?
So now I'm confused because you said an ulcer. And no, I'm not a doctor, but I think I know what an ulcer is.
Yeah.
And ulcers don't grow.
Yeah.
And I remember him shouting at me like, ag man, jy vra nou weer baie questions. Ek weet mos nou nie, I've had so much medication, I'm probably just in my car. And I knew something wasn't right. There was tests that they were running that he was not telling me about. But we left it. He's so far away, there's no way I'm going to be fighting with him right now. So if you say doctor say you're fine, then doctor says you're fine.
Okay.
But I'm not sharing the part with him, with anybody else that says it's not growing, because I don't know how to explain, because he hasn't explained it to me. So I'm not going to share that part. I'm just saying he's okay. They're doing tests. The Wednesday, after all the tests are now finally run, he calls. Look, Julianno is he's so different as a minister than he is as a person, as a other person,
Okay.
as my person. I have a lot more words than he does. I praat nie veel nie.
Really?
You know, he's crazy, yes. He's crazy as he is when he ministers. He's that kind of crazy, but he doesn't really talk much.
Wow.
And it's worse on the phone. Yeah, I see a lekker guy oor die phone. He says what he must say and he drops the phone.
Right.
So daar's nou nie jol op die phone vir ons nie.
Right.
Yeah, I think those days are past. He's older. He doesn't do all of that.
Yeah.
So we text a lot. But this day he's constantly calling, which is starting to annoy me because I'm working from home. En jy moes nog gesê jy's alright. So I know the intervals of our calls.
Right.
But he's calling every other minute.
While he's at the doctor.
He's in the hospital.
So they admitted him.
They admitted him. So remember, he's in there now for almost 4 weeks.
Wow.
Yes. And finally we get to this stage now. So from that September around the 20, I'm just trying to think back, and I don't do dates very well. But from about the 26th, I think, he's in hospital now, right until mid-October.
Shucks.
So he's there almost about 3-4 weeks now.
Wow.
And he phones this Wednesday. I'll never forget. He phones this Wednesday on WhatsApp call. Every video call, not just call, video call every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes. I can't even tell you. But now you constantly have to look at this phone because it's a video call.
Right.
Yes, babe. Is she alright? Yeah, she's alright. Okay. Why did you call? No, I just want to look at you. Ach nee man, you take him to speel, Julianno, what's happening? So he's constantly calling. No, can't I just call? Then he keeps quiet. Jay, what's happening? Nothing. I call him Jay. Jay, what's happening? Nothing. But you can't be calling for nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, no, I just want to see you. So I'm thinking, all right, this guy is tired of being there. He just needs to see a familiar face. And I'm feeling sorry. So now I'm being nice, shame.
Yeah.
I'm smiling. But inside, something's not
Yeah.
lekker. And eventually he says...
So that time, did you now know that he was diagnosed?
No. He knows, but I don't know.
My Lord.
So he says, in the last 3 about calls, he says, the first one is, have you spoken to Pastor? So Pastor phones all the time. And, yes, I've spoken to Pastor. But now he's waiting for me to tell him more, but I'm waiting for him to tell me more.
So maybe he told Pastor what's happening.
Yes,
and
so later on I find out, obviously, that he did know. He spoke to Pastor, he spoke to my parents, he spoke to his parents. So I'm the only one that doesn't know. Everybody knows, and these are all the people I don't get calls from this day, especially, excepting, obviously, the brave pastor who now has the job of being there. So... Jay, what's wrong? Yes, I spoke to Pastor. No, everything is okay. Did Pastor tell you anything? No, Pastor didn't. What must Pastor tell me? Nothing. Fine. Pastor's coming there. Why is Pastor coming, Jay? Pastor's coming to pray. For what? It's Wednesday, it's prayer meeting. Pastor wants to have prayer meeting for you. So because of COVID, we call it family altar.
Right.
So we're all in our own home. So I'm like, but we're going to have our own and Pastor's going to have his own. And we do it. But anyway, yes, if Pastor comes, it's fine. Did you prepare anything for Pastor? Jay, since when do we do all of these things? If Pastor comes and he wants something, then there'll be something. 5 o'clock hits. My mom and dad get there first. As my mom and dad park, Pastor and his wife and his family arrive. As they settle, my sister and I'm like, okay, guys, did I miss a message? So I'm going back into my trail. Maybe they want to spend the evening with us, knowing that Jay is not well. They want to help me with the kids. I don't know, but in your knowing, that something is not right. Yes, but I'm trying to keep this thing together now, and everybody's seated. And the last message he sends, can I call you? So I'm supposing everybody has now shared that they're here, that they're at the house and they're here.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, sure, you can call. And I get all excited when he does call. I'm in the TV room with everybody around me, and I take the video because it's a video call. And I'm walking around the room showing him who all is here. And I'm excited. I'm thinking, okay, And then he goes quiet, and then I know. Look, I don't know what he's going to say, but I know this is serious.
Yeah. Because why is everybody here?
And everybody is not as excited as I am to be introduced to Jay.
Right.
So what's happening? I'm like, okay, but I am extra. I know that I'm extra, so I'm thinking, okay, these people come from work, they're tired, go, relax, give them a break. And he says, so as I'm speaking, I'm standing against the wall. I can almost see this day, like it's that day I'll never forget. And Pastor keeps saying to me, come sit. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And Pastor's insisting that I must sit down, and I'm like, I'm okay. Can we just do what we need to do, because you guys are making me feel really awkward now. And Julianno says, Simone, I have cancer. And I don't remember responding. I remember staring at the phone and saying, we've got this. I said, we've got this. And I put the phone down. And I looked around the room and had these eyes all looking back at me. And I walked out. And as I got to our bedroom door, everything inside of me just couldn't. And I fell down there. And I don't remember ever crying that much, because all I know about cancer is death. Yeah. I've never encountered it. I'm not naive to the point where I don't know that there is a disease called cancer. I do understand that many have passed from it, but many have also survived.
Absolutely.
I know that. But being human, being a mother, these 2 kids, not even having healed properly from my experience with COVID, because I'm still going through all of this, still on medication. All I can think about is, Here my kinders. I can't. I can't. And my mom walks into the room, my sister and Pastor's wife, and they console me. And Pastor's wife is a breast cancer survivor.
Wow.
And Pastor, and I think as I think about it more, Joan, I realize that the reason why I believe I was more vulnerable with Pastor many times is because he too was affected once.
Right.
And if anybody could understand where I was, it was him.
Yes.
Yes, he's a
absolutely.
man. Yes, he's a pastor. He was a
Yes.
pastor at the time.
Yes.
Maar hy is iemand se man.
Yes,
Hy is
absolutely.
iemand se pa.
Yeah.
And his kids weren't as young as mine, but they were young.
Yes.
And he had to go through this as well. And I realize now, because he was the only one I remember to this day that I could be real with.
Yes.
In terms of he would call, and as I would pick up the call, I would start crying. Because I couldn't speak. But
Right.
anybody else would call and I'd be, I'm fine, I'm okay. Are you guys okay? Just keep praying, guys. We've got this. God's got him. You know, and I'd be encouraging
Right.
everybody else. But when Pastor would call, and eventually I said to him, please stop calling me. Please, can you not call me? If you want to ask me anything, ask Auntie Silla, his
Right.
wife. Please, can she call me?
Yeah.
Let her call me. Let her speak to me. Ask through her. Speak through her. Or text. Don't call me.
So
Which
why
he
did
obviously-
you do that? What was the feeling inside?
Which he obviously didn't do. The feeling inside was, and we spoke about this on our anniversary, Julianno and I didn't want to get to a space where I gave my feelings control over the situation.
Yeah, you wanna be strong.
I need to be strong, and I know myself. I have delayed reactions in terms of emotion.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
something happens, regardless good or bad, I deal, and once I've dealt, I sit back and
Right.
realize, oh my word, did I just do all of that?
Right.
Which I honestly now love about myself, because I get the job done. And I know that I'm extra. I am extra because I'm very intense. And when I do things with everything. So when I cry with everything. When I laugh with everything. When I just do with everything I have. And if I'm going to give my emotions control over the situation, I'm not going to be able to be the wife. I'm not going to be able to be a mother. I'm not going to be able to support you.
Yeah, and to
because
be
it's going to be
strong.
me.
Yeah.
And I had to make the decision that it's not about me right now. It's
Okay.
about fighting this demon.
Yay.
Because he's not taking my husband.
Yeah.
And I can't be going into the battlefield crying. I can't be going into the battlefield with blurry eyes. So, like I said, I cried that day, that week probably, more than I've ever cried in my life, until yesterday. More than I've ever cried in my life, and I haven't cried since.
Right.
I've dealt with it. I've looked at him. I've bathed him.
So now he's in hospital, and you know that he has cancer, right? As the old people used to call it, the big C. So he has cancer, and you know that your cancer goes with a lot of things. So all these things went through your mind. So you're thinking, wow, how long, the death, and you're thinking all those type of things. And so tell me, did you know then at stage 4?
No. At the time, we didn't know the stage. At the time, he only has a gastroenterologist because it's a stomach issue. So he has a specialist doctor who's the gastroenterologist, and he has a surgeon. Other than that, we don't have an oncologist yet because we don't know. So the doctor tells us that it's cancer, or tells him that it's cancer, but his surgeon then also refers us to an oncologist. So we haven't seen an oncologist at this time yet. It's just what the doctor says. So we know it's cancer. We don't know how severe. So now he still has to go through the stages.
Okay.
So he's just been told that he has cancer, but he doesn't also know, and it's in the stomach. So it's not the colon, so we know it's stomach cancer. We don't know what the stage is, but we know that that's where we're at. So now for the next few days, he's going to have different procedures done to extract different parts, extract fluids, because the fluids can also tell doctors how much cancer there is and how far it has spread. They need to take samples of the tumor itself to see, and all this testing is being done. And we need to make an appointment now. Well, we don't have to make the appointment. Our surgeon has made contact with an oncologist that he believes in. The oncologist is at the hospital. His rooms are at the hospital that where Julianno is at the moment. So that's going to help us. It's close to home. And he gets discharged a few days later. Because now there's nothing. We know that it's cancer and now we need to work on the cancer. But the cancer can't be dealt with in the hospital. It needs to be dealt with an oncologist. So our first appointment with the oncologist is a scary one because you walk into a room with, it's only cancer patients. It's not a hospital. It's a cancer hospital.
Okay.
So all you see there is cancer.
Wow.
And you're sitting in that waiting room and it's like, Lord, is this what awaits?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I'm calm. I'm composed because I've got questions. I know he's not going to ask, so I'm ready. I've got my book.
Yes,
I need to know this now.
Yes,
so I've taken charge.
Right.
After you focus, because this comes from that very night when I was crying like I was crying, put the kids in bed, got into the bath, cried. And the last cry was, Lord, now what?
Now I'm in a war.
Now,
so I am a soldier here.
Yes. Now, something's got to give.
Yes.
And this is my... Julianno laughs at me sometimes because he says that relationship is just too real. Yes, no, and I met a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Lord, I want a husband. I want my children to have a father. I'm going to pray and I'm focusing on health and healing.
Yes.
He's given me, or what drops in my spirit is Job. So from this discussion now, I can say to him, if you saying, because I'm trusting that this voice is yours, if you saying this is a Job situation, then you saying, you said to the enemy, have you seen my son Julianno? You can take everything, you can do everything, but you don't touch his life. So if that is what you said, I know I'm about to lose it all, but not his life. So I'm focusing on his life, and that I can't do a lot right now. I have these children here. There's a COVID situation. My focus in this war is health.
Right.
Your focus is everything else.
Right.
So if you've brought this thing, you best bring everything else that I need to sort out this thing. I'm not going to be praying for money. I can't be distracted. Yes, we have medical aid.
Yeah.
We have medical aid, but for those of you that know, medical aid is not always enough.
Absolutely.
It comes, and this cancer comes with so many unforeseen things. Already the first visit to the oncologist hasn't been approved by our medical aid. So that first visit needs to be paid cash. All the medication that comes with it need to be paid. Who was prepared for all of that? And this cash is not 100 Rand, 150 Rand. For those of you that have the 100 and 150 Rand.
It's expensive.
It's in the thousands.
Yeah, no.
And I said to him, I'm not. There's no way I'm going to turn around from a pharmacy, from a hospital, and say, I cannot afford the medication my husband needs. So whatever we're going to do now, you need to make provision.
Yes.
I cannot split this that I have between fighting for a roof over our heads, fighting for money, fighting for food on the table, fighting for my husband's health.
Everything else
I'm taking one, and the rest is on you. How you do it, that's you. And I remember this was how I spoke to Julianno as well. So from the moment he told me, I don't cry when he calls, I don't, like you see me now, is pretty much what he saw for those few months. My first message that night is, Jay, I prayed, and this is what the Lord is saying, this is what I sense. So, he's got you.
Right.
We're going to go through quite a bit. We're going to lose quite a bit. I don't know what it is that we're going to lose, but we're going to lose. Because we can't decide what part of Job we want to take, right? He lost.
Yeah, he lost everything. Yeah.
I don't know what our loss entails concerning this thing, but I'm ready to lose it. But I'm not losing your life. Look, the other things that are going to be lost, I can get back.
So did they give him a diet to follow and stuff like that?
No, not yet. Because he can't eat anything. So what the oncologist says to us at the time is, what he can eat, let him eat. Because this one is a bit different. The stomach is a bit different. The stomach has its own rules and it does its own thing. So if there's something he can eat,
so what is the type of questions that you ask? Because I'm now very curious to hear the type of questions you ask the doctor.
You must see, I can actually see his face as you're asking me the questions. So we're sitting next to each other and doctor speaks. So doctor looks at all the papers he's got in front of him and he says to Julianno, great, so this is where we're at. You are at stage 4 stomach cancer, he says. a severe kind. This is the routine we're going to follow now. So this is the regime we're going to follow. So the chemo is made up of a whole lot of different medicines, right? That do a whole lot of different things. And this is what we're going to do. It's the most aggressive because now we're looking for cure.
Yeah.
So the first thing is we're looking to cure you. You're young, man. You've got this. You can fight this. So doctor is confident. Okay? So what does that mean? That's my first question. Okay. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to come in every day? No. He's going to come in once a week. He's going to sit here for a few hours. They're going to put the needle in. He's going to get the chemo. He's going to be fetched. He's going to go home, and then he's going to deal with it. He's going to go home with a part of the chemo. Because one of the medicines in this regime is something that is stuck to him. So it's almost like he's walking with his drip. He had an operation just before. It's called a port. They place it in. He still has it. There's a little thing under his skin. So they don't have to find a vein every time he comes for chemo. They put it through this thing. So he's got a built-in drip. So every time he comes for chemo, they put it through this thing. So it's under his skin. The needle will go in his skin into the port, and that's where he gets his chemo through. But then he leaves the rooms with one of the medicines. That's a slow release. So he gets it on a Monday, and then it stays in until about the Thursday. He gets it on a Monday, it stays in until about the Thursday. And then we have to take him back for it to be removed. And then he's fine, and then he has to go back in like 2 weeks.
Oh my word! Then you do it. You take him back.
Yes. So I'm the driver. I'm the driver. I'm the nurse.
And then where's the children?
The children at the time, thankfully, Mom lives up the road from us.
Wow!
So
thank God you have a mother still.
Yes, Mom and Dad live up the road from us. Thank you, Lord, for them. The greatest supports we could have. Jay's mom is also still alive. Amazing. The Lord has blessed me with an amazing mother in love.
Yeah.
Again, as baie wat
Yeah.
issues yet, but I've been blessed. I've really been blessed.
Yeah.
The kids are between my mom, between the help, but there is someone taking care of them. Very many mornings I have to drop Jazera at my mom's on my way to the hospital, drop her with her brother at my mom's, and then go take him to the doctor, come back, pick them up, and go home. So we've got that under control. And then he walks with like a little moon bag for about a week because the rest of the medication is in there in a little ball, and it's just releasing into his body for the rest of that week.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was different. COVID again, I can't sit with him, so I have to drop him. He goes in by himself. The drip comes on. We speak for a while, but all those medications eventually tires him out, drains him, makes him sleepy, so he falls asleep anyway. Just before they put in this one that's going to have to make him come home, he'll send a message to say, almost done. Then I'll pack up, and because I'm still working from home.
Right, so
Thankfully,
then you have to leave everything and go fetch him.
So I have to drop everything and then fetch him. Get him home, settle the kids, do what needs to be done. And because you can't sleep, for whatever reasons, then I'll start working again or preparing for my next day.
So tell me, does it have any effects afterwards?
Alles.
So what happens to him after the treatment?
This is the very strongest regime that he's on in terms of medication, and doctor tells us all the side effects. So hair fall is one, and at the time, I think you've seen the poster.
Oh yeah,
if Leandra
can maybe put on.
Nee, daar is nog min hare. Julianno is
it is
heavy,
on, okay.
And he has a lot of hair at this time.
Right.
He's growing an afro. Jazera, our daughter, and him are competing how big they can grow their hair. So his hair is big at this point. His hair is big, it's grown, it's thick, he's got a bit of an afro going, so the hair can fall out. Vomiting is one of the side effects. Doctor says it won't be as bad because medicine has improved since the first time we found out about cancer. So yes, you'll still have the vomits,
and
but
also
it won't
there's
be as
different
bad.
types, because with different types of cancers, there's some cancers that your hair don't even fall out. Yeah.
Yes. But look, he gives us nails may start falling off and getting brittle, so his fingernails are not looking very nice at the moment. Yeah, he still has all his fingernails, but they're not looking like that. Yeah. Alles, and then Julianno gets all the side effects. His skin goes funny. His skin becomes, Julianno is like a goldish complexion.
Yeah.
The undertone of his skin is
Yeah.
a bit gold, but he goes darker than me, but not dark. He goes asphalt.
Yeah,
if that's a word.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
goes funny. It goes dry. It goes not even dark. It goes black. The circles, the skin starts looking cancer. I don't know if it even makes sense for people that don't know. I think you know when you see someone that has cancer that they have cancer. Something happens to their skin. It just looks different. And all of those things start happening.
Yeah.
But his first one nearly cost him his life. That treatment was that strong. The first one had him rushed back to hospital one Saturday evening. I had to take him back to hospital because he was in so much pain. The vomits just wouldn't stop. So obviously if he's vomiting so much, he doesn't have energy. I don't know what to do. And for me, the best thing is get you to a doctor that knows how to treat this.
Yes.
So have to rush him to the hospital, have him admitted. And there they have to treat him. Our very first visit, the nurses around him. So now COVID restrictions have dropped a bit and I'm able to visit, thank you, Lord. But only one visitor. And he decides the visitor is me. Because he's also he's that person.
Yeah.
He's not private. He is private, but he's very, I don't know, Julianno's weird. Julianno's
But
different.
Simone, I can understand that, you know what, that you don't have time to explain to
Yes.
people because sometimes people can be very nosy. If I can,
Yes,
and
yes.
sometimes maybe
And
not
ask silly
nosy,
questions.
ask funny
that- yes,
questions.
yes. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's questions that you don't really want
Yes.
to answer. Every time the same question, someone else comes in and it's another question.
Yeah.
So you don't really, I can just imagine,
Yeah. No,
you don't really
definitely.
have that
You don't know.
strength to
No.
even talk to people. So
No.
the best is my wife knows me.
Yes. Yes.
And also that pride. Because, man,
yeah, no shame.
know?
I had to make peace with all of that because I needed to, if nothing else, this journey has given me insight to my husband that I don't think I would have had. Because he's not look, I talk. And I think that's why he was comfortable with me coming without him. I talk.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I don't like this and I don't like that. I like it like this, I like it like that.
Yeah.
I prefer if you do it this, I prefer
Yes.
if you do it that.
Yes.
He can't. So I'll say, did you enjoy that? We make supper and I've given it to him, do you enjoy that? Yeah. What is yeah? Yeah, you like it, me. Take the mushrooms out, put the, tell me, I'm learning. I'm a new wife. I need to understand what my husband likes. It's okay. Okay. That's okay. We'll deal with it's okay. So he doesn't share much. He's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't give detail.
He's not an
Julianno is a black and
outspoken
white person. Yes.
yeah.
Julianno is a black and white
Yeah.
person. It's either black or it's white. And that's his favorite colors. So it's either black or it's white. That's nie gray areas for him. As reg of is verkeerd, is black of it's white. He loves color, but black and white is his thing. So this is who he is. This is what I get to know even better.
Now, seeing your husband for the first time with the medication, because obviously medication must first get used to the body, and it's different effects on different types of bodies and different types of people. That's why they say all medications are not the same for someone else. So therefore, don't share medication. So how did you feel as a wife looking at, here's your children, here's your husband, and seeing the suffering? What went through your mind? What did you feel looking at him and you have to rush him back? Seeing what he's going through, especially with the vomiting and that, because it's something you were not used to this.
No.
You know, this was a man who was there all the time. He was lively, he was lekker.
Busy.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you have all of this.
Yeah.
I think I said earlier that when I made up my mind that this is not my journey. This is not my time to cry.
Right.
This is not my time to be weak. I also made the decision that I'm not going to see all of those things. So when I look at him, I had to see healing and wholeness. when I looked at him, I had to see. So I had to look through what I was seeing. It's not the easiest. But because I know how I am, and in my mind, I'd look at this thing and know this is serious now. I'd know when to see serious.
Right.
And when to see my carnal eye looking at oulik en nie oulik. Hy
But
lyk
you
nie weer
see-
dieselfde nie.
But you see, Simone, the difference there is you're a child of God. You believe in the healing power of God, right?
Yes.
There are people who is not on the same platform, if I may put it that way. They're not playing that role on that stage where you playing, right? So what would you say to a woman out there who do not know Christ and is going through this situation, fighting this fight of cancer?
Sure.
You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, and it's not an easy one.
No, it
The
can't be.
same way that cancer or any disease and any sickness is not the same on anybody. Julianno and I can't come to you now, to any of you sitting there and saying, oh no, stomach cancer. Okay, no, do. Wife, do. I can't. And all I can say is, it's not an easy fight. This thing is real. But if you don't have what I have, get what I have.
Oh, yes.
I think that's where I would start
Where
first.
you
If you
start.
don't
Yeah,
have what I
yeah.
have in terms of what I
Yeah.
believe for,
He's
get
the
what I
only one.
have. But without that, there's something you need to believe for. I think
Yeah.
that was our thing, was
Yeah.
that there was an end point to this journey because we knew that it was a journey. Because I believe, I knew that God could heal this man. But when I prayed, and I had to share this with him one day, when I did pray, I know that God had already healed him. But there was a process that he had to take Julianno through. And I remember sending him a message that day saying, babe, you are healed. Now it's between you and God. He's going to take you through some things. So your one is not an instantaneous supernatural one, but a one of process, because there's things that need to happen here.
Right.
And you need to be ready.
Okay.
And so my advice to people is, it's not first one is one day at a time. I think if I
Awesome.
need to be
Wonderful,
the realist,
yeah.
the first thing is
Yeah.
one day at a
Yeah.
time. Because no 2 days are the same. Even in that day, no 2 moments are the same. One moment he could be so alive, speaking to me, excited, joking with me. The next moment, I'm not getting a response, whether he's in an emotional state or whether he is in wrestling with this thing, Lord, why me, how me, when, why, what, how, my dad, my uncle. Where he is at now, I need to know where he's at. And I need to respect where he's at.
Yeah.
Because as much as I'm fighting this fight, I think you said it earlier, Joan, I cannot feel what he's feeling.
Absolutely.
I can see that he's in pain, but I cannot feel that pain. No matter how much pain you
You're
yourself
not
have
in
gone
that
through,
body.
it's not
Yeah,
the same.
it's not the same.
It's not. And this is a man, I tell you, that has the highest pain threshold I know.
Sure.
He doesn't just take a tablet. He doesn't just say, ek is of dit voel. I barely know when he's not well. But here I know. When Julianno asks for medication, when Julianno asks or says he's in pain, I know he's in pain. So if answering your question, what would I tell any wife facing this is, no 2 journeys are the same. You're going to have to face your one, your way. And no 2 days in that journey is the same. And then the last one would be to respect their journey. Whoever you're dealing with, if your wife, if it's his journey, you're going to have to respect his journey, because this is his journey. He's going to have to go through it his way. Look, I had a list of things we were going to do. You spoke about nutrition earlier.
Yeah.
Look, I had a list of wat gaan hy eet, wat gaan hy
Yeah.
nie eet, wat gaan hy drink, hoe gaan ons dit maak.
Yeah.
I had messages and WhatsApps and everything from everybody coming through.
Yeah, because I can imagine that's the
Of-
first thing as a
Hulle sê jy
woman.
moet, hulle sê jy moet, and they
Yeah.
just came for me. And I decided, okay, the same like when I had my baby, all of it just came for us, and I had to say, this is for us, this is not for us.
Yes,
Ek doen nie
yes,
hulle
yes.
mensies nie, dankie.
Yes,
Ouma,
yes.
wat en wat, maar ons is nie weer daar nie, so dankie, maar ons gaan nie daai doen nie. I don't like that, maar my kind gaan nie. The same way I had to filter that information I was getting for cancer, because nobody's calling him. They're calling
You
me.
have to have an attitude, a strong attitude, due to the fact that everybody wants to say something and they don't mean bad.
Yes.
They also just want to,
They're trying to help.
trying to help.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's a lot of people who came your way and said, you know what, this and this had it, and this helped for him, and why don't you make A, B, and C? And you have to have a strong sense of understanding,
Yes.
and also your attitude.
Yes.
Because attitude plays a vital role, and even in respecting him where he's at in that pain, fighting his fight, and knowing, because I can imagine how they sometimes feel frustrated because I don't want to be like this. Why me, Lord?
Yes.
That type of thing. And I can almost think how Julianno is, because I think I have people in my life that's like it. So yeah. So I can almost understand that. But what I wanted to ask you, Simone, because we have a few minutes left. The time went so fast, man.
Oh my God, it felt like we just started.
Exactly. So I want to know, so what happens when he gets so sick, like last night? Because you're so strong, you want to keep it up because it's not your fight, as you rightfully said. But now, because you know what, I saw his status the other day where he said, "This is not a journey. This is now a war." Right? And I know last night was
We were in
was
the
really
battlefield.
top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah. Last night was one of the worst we've ever had since
was
our
the
journey
pinnacle,
started. Yeah. Last night. So when this happens, your question to me is what happens when he gets to that fight? So I'm gonna refer specifically to last night. I think last night was one of our realest moments. In the past, it would be a matter of, Jay, you're not well. We've tried everything. I think the best thing is we need to get you to a hospital. We need to get you onto a drip. You need to be fed somehow. You need to be strengthened. And we would do that. And then we would go and we would do what we need to do. But on this particular moment, last night was real. I looked at him. I think many people have seen pictures of him, and if you haven't, you can see it on his Facebook page. He puts his journey on there. And he has a picture of him at one of his lowest points during chemo. But even that lowest point was nothing compared to last night. I've heard people speak of skin and bones. I thought it was that chemo body that I saw.
Yeah, there is one picture that people can see right now.
Yeah.
Right? That is on.
So there is one that's skin and bones, but right now it's even worse than that picture. It's really skin and bone. That's niks meer Dani. And I said to him, we need to talk. And he looked up at me as best he could because he's so weak, he's just laying. And he gave me the eye and he says, it sounds serious. And I said, it just got very real. And I walked out of the room. I walked right out of our house. I closed the door behind me. I called my mom. I called my mom first and I said to her, you need to fetch the kids. And I suppose she thought I'm taking him to the hospital. I said to her, you need to fetch the kids. They need to spend the night by you. It's not nice. What is happening here is not nice. She dropped and she came. And then I called Pastor. And I said to him, you need to be honest with me now. You need to tell me the truth. And I'm going to tell you why I'm asking you. I need to prepare myself. I need to prepare my children. I know God has not changed his mind. I know he has not changed his promise to me. But maybe I'm too close to this, that I cannot hear what I'm supposed to hear, and I'm hearing only what I want to hear. So I'm asking you not as my father, but as my pastor. When you prayed, what did God say? And he looked at me. He's very much like Julianno. He looked at me and he was quiet for a while. And he says, "Ek weet ook nie." I said to him, "You can't lie to me now. You need to be so honest with me, because for whatever it is, I want us to be prepared. So if it is our last night together, may it be our best night together. So you need to tell me now." It just got real. So you just need to tell me, what did God say to you? Is Julianno gonna die? And he says he also doesn't know. And with that, I dropped the phone. We said, okay, bye. And I started packing for the kids. My parents were there in a few minutes because they live close to us. And once they had left, I went to the room and I said to him, "Now, you need to tell me the honest truth. You know, I have put on my full armor and I am so ready to fight this thing to the end. But we always speak about, no matter what decision in life we have to make, we always speak about the agreement. So I need to know if we are in agreement that we're going to continue fighting here." I think he said, before this, as I'm telling you this, I think he said to me, we were laying on the bed, and he asked me, he said to me, he said, "Thank you." And I said, "Thank you for what?" And he starts, and I said, wait, what's wrong? Did you hear something? Do you feel something? Are you lying to me about something? What's happening? And he says, "No, I just want to say thank you. Can't I say thank you?" And I said, "No, because it's not over yet. I tell you what, when all this is over, you take me on a date. You dress up nice, and dan gaan sing jy vir my dankie." And I give him my finger, and I say, "Promise."
Sure.
And Julianno looks away. And I said, "The fact that it's taken you so long to respond means that you know something and you're hiding it from me." And he says, "No, he doesn't." And he takes my finger and he says, "I promise." So now back to my conversation with him. After I speak to Pastor, he says, "I'm going to fight with you." And I say, "Fine." So you haven't heard from God. I haven't heard from God. In terms of a changed promise. All we need now is a new strategy. So, we're fighting. And he says, "Yes." And I lift him up. And there's a knock on the door. Well, there's a buzz at the gate, and it's his friend. Tabo comes, and Tabo serves him communion. And we start praying. And for the first time in our 6 months on this journey, yesterday, I think Julianno and I were scared. For the first time in our 6 months, we cried together. It's never happened. We cried, we held each other, and we just cried. But when we were done there, we stood. Well, I stood next to him, and I said, "Now I'm ready to go back into the battlefield. And we're fighting this one." And I promised him that this one was going to be the last one. Once we have gone through this one, I believe that we will have our full victory.
Okay, so we want to once again thank you everybody for tuning in. We're almost at the end. So I want to just ask one question that Sarita Miles asked is to you, Simone. Did you ever experience anger toward God during this time? And if yes, how did you deal with that?
Honestly, Anger. I don't know if I was honestly ever really angry, but maybe just sad.
Yeah.
Like, Lord, why?
Yeah.
Like, can we, Julianno and I, now 6 years of marriage. Is it Sarita?
Yeah, Sarita Miles.
Sarita, in our 6 years of marriage, we've been through the most. And I don't think I was angry.
Thank you.
But I think with all the questions I had, it may have sounded to people that there was anger. So how did I deal with it? I dealt with it to the space that I had to internalize it. I had to feel it. With any feeling I have.
Right.
You have to, look, I'm no doctor or psychologist, but you have to feel it.
Right.
Because it's only when you feel something that you know what you're feeling. And like I say to my daughter, now we need to put that feeling into words because mommy doesn't understand a feeling. So I need to put my feeling into words. And if it's anger, then it needs to be, take it away because I'm not being biblical or scriptural or trying to lie to you.
Yeah.
But because of where my journey started, I couldn't allow myself to feel this.
Right.
Because processing this takes long.
Absolutely.
And I can't be sitting and processing when I'm in the battlefield.
Absolutely.
Because then the enemy comes for me.
Yes.
He comes for my
your
family.
children,
He comes for my
yes.
I can't. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm answering your question. But it's because I couldn't allow myself at the time to be consumed by any other emotion or any other. My uncle said it very nice yesterday. We have 5 senses.
Yeah.
We have 5 senses.
Yeah.
But in the spirit, the realm that I fight in, we have 6 senses.
Right.
The person that I'm wanting to be, I have 6 senses. I shut my 5 senses down.
Right.
I didn't want to see anything that was
Concentrate on
not
the
of
six.
my promise. I
Yes.
didn't want to smell anything because it comes with a smell.
Right.
There's a smell.
Absolutely.
There's a taste.
Absolutely.
All that medication and stuff, you can almost taste it.
Yeah.
There's a touch. His skin feels so
Yeah.
different. There's the 5 senses.
Oh my Lord.
I couldn't stay in those 5. I don't know what they are.
Feelings.
My 6th sense is the one that I loved in,
Yes.
and that was faith.
Right.
So
Amen.
I grew that one. I loved in that one. That was where I dwelled, and that is where I dwell. So this one, those 5, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe later I'll be able to explain and able to share.
Yeah, definitely.
Once everything is done and we
Definitely.
can go through the full journey.
Definitely.
But for where we are right now, I don't know what those 5 senses are or how I deal with it yet.
Thank God.
I can share with you on my 6th sense, and that is
Hallelujah.
my faith.
Colin James is asking, how do you integrate and how do you assist the children to deal with what daddy and the family are going through? And that was my question that I also have here.
My son, we can't share much with him, right? He's a year, so he's
Yeah.
very little, he understands. But Jazera, we weren't going to tell her anything. She's 5. We weren't going to tell her not anything, but not much.
Right.
But we couldn't keep it away from her. She's very observant. She's very sensitive. She's crazy about her dad. We were forced to tell her, remember the back and forth to the hospital. And every time he would go, I would tell her that he's coming back. And he wouldn't come back with me.
Yeah.
And every time he would call, he'd say that the doctor was going to release him. And the doctor wouldn't at the time. And I remember the one day we were on our way for chemo. So I knew that this wasn't a matter of him staying. It was really just dropping him and coming back. I was preparing her to go to my mom, getting her dressed because she's not at creche or school because of COVID. And I was preparing her and I said, so we're taking daddy to the doctor. I'm coming back. And she says she wants to come with. And I said she can't. They're not going to allow her in.
Yeah.
And she says, but he's not going to come back. You're lying to me. You
Oh,
guys
my
always
word.
lie to me. And that hit me so hard.
Wow.
I had to look in her eyes and say to her, I promise you, daddy's coming back.
Oh my word. I
When I
wonder
come
what's going
back-
through that little mind.
Yeah, when I come back, I'm coming with daddy. So go to granny. And when mommy fetches you, she'll fetch you with daddy. So that particular day, I didn't come home straight from chemo because I wasn't going to come home with him because I dropped him only. I worked from there and fetched him so that I could keep the promise of coming home with daddy. But I had to explain to Julianno where we were at and what needed to happen.
Yeah.
So that evening, they had daddy-daughter time, and he took her to the room, and he had to explain to her about what they called between her and daddy. It was about the monster in daddy's stomach that's making daddy sick, and the doctors is giving daddy medication to kill this monster in his stomach. So Jazera now understands. We didn't call it anything because I was scared that naming it, she doesn't understand what cancer is. And like me, on that first day hearing cancer, I don't know who she was going to share the word with on my kan praat baie, what people would say to her. So on a level that she would understand, we had to tell her that there's a monster in daddy's stomach that's making him sick and we need to take it out.
Sure.
And from that day, she'd pray about the monster.
Yeah.
So that is how we took Jazera through it, and it became a bit easier for her. My daughter is now even more adamant that she's going to become a doctor. So
wow, awesome.
The
Lord will take her through a journey,
trust him.
really.
We trust him.
I know we came to the end of this because, ek is chankara. It brought a lot of memories.
Bless you.
So, thank you so much, everybody, from a sister to another sister that has really kept the faith and who's still fighting alongside her husband. I want to salute you this morning. I want to thank God for you. Thank you so much for fighting with him. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for standing in this battle. Thank you for keeping the faith. And thank you for being the woman that you are. You are a remarkable woman. You're phenomenal. And I know God's going to carry you through every step of the way. And as you rightfully said, one day at a time. Right? I have a plea to everybody out there. This gives you more reason. We are in the kingdom together.
Yes.
We are in this battle together. So I am asking you once again, please, if you can pray, lift Julianno, Phyllis, Simone, and the children before the Lord. I know prayer changes things. Nothing is too difficult for the Lord to do. We serve a living God. We serve a God who can do the impossible because he specializes in the impossible. And once again, we are asking, let us unite as the body of Christ and let our prayers be toward God, heal Julianno, and let cancer, every cancerous cell in that body die, and let good new cells develop and come forth. In the name of Jesus, we believe. Simone, I love you. You are in my prayers. And thank you once again for the woman that you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Love you, my sis.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We came to the end of this show. Very emotional show. But thank you so much. I could not get to all your comments here. Everybody is saying strength to you, Simone. They will really hold you in prayer. And they're thanking you for standing with your husband. My brother, don't give up. For if God is for us, who the hell can be against us? We are standing on the promises of God. That all things work together for the good. For those who are in Christ Jesus. You are in Christ Jesus. And we're standing with you as the body of Christ. Knowing that God is in control of all our things. What does he say? He will perfect the things which concerns us. So we pray that he will do so in your situation. We love you. Don't give up. Keep on fighting the good fight of faith. Thank you so much, beloved. I love you. God loves you best. Go in the peace of the Lord. Mwah.
In the shadow, as I look upon my life, in the shadow, there's a passion in